Let's go!
Let's do it. We just got done playing 5 straight hours of Guilty Gear Strive. I picked a character that I had no idea how to play at the start of this, so I picked Gio, just because she's the sickest looking character in the game. Most important thing everyone's asking, how good is the online? Is the netcode good? Netcode's great, it's fantastic. It works as proper rollback netcode should, and I think a lot of people are confused by what that means. All it really means is that if you play a fighting game that has rollback netcode, you will never experience heightened input delay, right? You're never gonna go through a situation where I'm fighting someone really far away and there's so much lag it's insane. That won't happen with rollback netcode. Your inputs are going to always be a set amount of input delay, which is usually, I think in this game, it's gonna be about 2 to 3. So it feels about 2 to 3 frames of input delay in general. Anything beyond that, rollback essentially kicks in so that you don't have any extra input delay. There's a figure at the top that everyone's saying, man, this thing is saying 6 rollback frames. That input delay is crazy. 6 frames of input delay is nuts. That's not what that means. Rollback frames is how many frames it can roll back from. And you notice it in some special moves, like if a character does a DP, suddenly their DP would just have come out and you actually don't see the first 4 to 6 frames of it. That's what that means. That you potentially could, at the beginning of some of your opponent's special moves, not see the start of their special moves, because that's how rollback works. The game is like, we think you did this. Oh, no, you actually did that, and it rolls back to the beginning of the move where you missed the startup. That seems weird, right? 6 frames seems weird. However, when you're mid-fight and you're engaging in battle, and with all the rollback games that we've been playing over the years, you know, it isn't that detrimental. And I'm playing some pretty far matches, like France and UK all the way to the US is into Southern California, some pretty far shit. And we're seeing very few rollback frames kicking in, very few. So that's fantastic. This is not a situation with Street Fighter V, and I've explained this a few times before. Street Fighter V has a problem where it has no delay frames to work with. So you see weird stuttering all the time. That's one of the big problems with Street Fighter V's rollback. This doesn't have that issue. Clearly the devs that put in the time for this were aware of that. And for anyone that was curious if this is going to be Arc System Works' first rollback jam, they might run into the same problems that Street Fighter ran into. Little do people know, a lot of the rollback problems of Street Fighter V were fixed in Marvel Infinite. And this game definitely was made by developers that cared about rollback implementation, and rollback was introduced to this game engine at a point where it could actually work. So long story short, yeah, it runs great online. It's really good. Bad news, the lobby is ass. The lobby is just as bad as it was before. And it feels like the lobby has input delay, but the games don't. The actual gameplay is amazing, but you spend so much time in the freaking lobby. This is probably going to be alleviated and adjusted when the game comes out, because I don't want to get me the hell away from those fucking Habbo Hotel lobbies and shit. Thank you. Get me away from these lobbies. They're just the worst. And actually coordinating to fight people and just making your way through all this nonsense. Somehow it is a worse version of the previous Arc System Works lobbies that you've seen in Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, Dragon Ball, Blaze Blue Cross Tag, as well as Guilty Gear Xrd and beyond. It's just a worse version of all of those. So I'm not a huge fan of it, right? And you spend more time roaming the lobbies than you do actually playing each other. But the most important thing is playing each other feels really good. Gameplay wise, I picked Gio, and she's really nuanced, right? She feels like she is an easy to use character because a lot of her stuff is generally safe on block, it feels like, or at least puts you in a big enough gap so people can't punish you really hard. But actually doing really good combos with Gio is tough. A lot of it requires, we all saw those like combo videos for the character and we're like, damn, this is amazing. Look at this character, look at all the crazy shit she can do. It isn't just like button, 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 jump, button, 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 RC, button, 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 smash. It really isn't like that. She has a lot of like micro walks and buffers and things that you really have to get ready for. in order to do those things. And it was fun figuring that out. But at the same time, her damage is pretty friggin' high. Her game plan's pretty straightforward, but it's good, you know? Things are safe on block. You can't abuse the overhead flip kick because people can punish you. She looks really goddamn cool. I enjoy her a lot. Is she a bit like Jam? Not really, because Jam's interesting aspects were completely her interesting meter build and like gauges and stuff like that. The energy stuff that she does. That's really neat. She doesn't have any of that, man. I do wish she had more Thunder Puppy stuff, but I'm really enjoying her, right? I don't know if she's the best character to start off with. Maybe if you're planning on doing 3-hit combos the whole time, then yeah, Gio's actually a pretty good character. But if you really want to like crack her open and get to some of the nutty stuff that she can do, which I was starting to see, like the jump canceling stuff, the air dash canceling stuff she can do, she's crazy. She gets some crazy shit that she's capable of doing. So I like her a lot. I'm looking forward to trying out other characters. A lot of people tonight were playing Nago and doing some hella damage with that character. Nago touches you, you get fucked up, but he seems super slow. Nago seems like a ridiculously slow character where he was getting very highly punished in many situations. So I don't know who I'm gonna play next. I think I'll come back to Gio when we get another chance to play this shit. And I think I want to play more Leo. So we'll see how that goes, because Leo looks pretty intact, you know what I mean? So I had a lot of fun. No, any fighting game that's kind of crazy like this one and has such precise online it's gonna be fun, man. It's gonna be very hard to be super critical of a fighting game in that situation when it just plays great online. Feels good. Feels very good.